I was so excited when she said she'd come on. She's very talented, very funny, an actor, comedian, an improviser, someone who's really strong about feminist issues and social justice. A nice package of a very inspiring woman, and I'm so happy that she's on the program today. Natalie Harde, welcome to the Reductive Conversations podcast. How are we doing?
Thank you so much. Wow, I'm doing so well. That was such a wonderful introduction, Matt. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I just explain what's great about every guest. And you have a lot of great things about you. So tell me, Natalie, how are we doing to start this off? How has your year started in 2021?
Oh, 2021 has actually been off to a great start. A lot of hopeful things going on, lots of projects, which is good to feel like a person and
Hmm.
have stuff to do and can reconnect with people, even if it's virtually. So it's been something hopeful, which is nice.
Oh, that's what I love to hear. That's awesome. And being productive in your own ways. Great, great.
Yeah.
So, what do I start with you, Natalie? One of the great things about you, as I mentioned, is you love to act. You and I originally met at the University of Hartford. We were both tour guides, and we were on the same shifts often. So
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty cool with that. You represent in the Hart School. I
Yeah.
represent the film school. So we both graduated since then. Walk me through what you've been up to after you graduated from the esteemed Hart School of Music.
The esteemed Heart School. Well, yeah, it feels like it does feel like a lifetime ago, honestly.
Mhm.
I could do my tour guide speech like right now, though. I feel like I slip back into it, give you a tour of the campus. But yes, post grad life is so weird for everybody. I think everyone's doing their own, like finding their own path, and that's really exciting. So I got to New York in the fall, and I started to do the typical audition circuit and
Mhm.
started doing stand up, and I was working at a restaurant in Rockefeller Center, and that was insane. That was like a very like high scale job to have, and I had to learn a lot
About that.
sight unseen. Yeah, like wine and steak and all of that. So just a huge learning experience, kind of just jumping into New York like full force head first. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay. So you moved to New York, Big Apple. That's awesome. Awesome. May I ask, what is that restaurant you work are you still working there or worked what at the fall?
No, I worked there for 6 months, up until the pandemic. I was
Mhm.
working at Del Frisco's Grill in Rock Center. You can see the tree from there. So I worked Christmas season, and that was, let me tell you, that was quite a lot.
I
That
actually
was a
know
lot.
I know Del Frisco's really well, McGraw Hill building. So my first internship was at Sirius XM. We shared a building with you guys.
Oh, very cool.
So I would walk by it all the time. I remember the very big onion rings that they would put out, and
Yes.
really
Have you ever
jealous.
had the cheesesteak egg rolls? Because they're the best.
Not yet, but I'm
Worth a
waiting for
try.
that day. Okay, okay. So are you in New York still right now? You're in the city?
Yeah, yeah. I live in Astoria,
Nice.
Queens. This is my
Oh
second year
yeah.
here. I love it here. It's so Astoria is the best. It really is.
So my cousin lives in Astoria, actually. I wish
Oh,
I could
very
tell you.
cool.
I really wish I could tell you the road. It's off the corner of wow. When I visited her in the fall, it was great. It's annoying, blanking my mind. She was on the show and we talked about the
Beautiful.
great things of Astoria. But tell me some of your so I see you're very excited though. So why don't you walk me through what are some of the great things about living in Astoria, home of
Living in
Archie Bunker
Astoria.
and all those guys?
Yeah. Astoria's the food in Astoria, I think is unbeatable. I love that I can hear like 6 languages when I walk to the train,
Mhm.
and it feels really safe. It kind of feel like it's a secret. Like I only want people I like to come over here. I don't want everyone to come over here and ruin it and gentrify it. But it feels really homey. It's I feel really safe. It's like great distance from Manhattan, but you're not too far,
Right.
which is really important because I'm in Manhattan all the time. But
Of
it is
course.
nice to take a step back. Initially, I was like, I want to live in amidst all the commotion and in the middle of it all, but I didn't realize how like loud and dirty it could be. So I like having my own space 40
I know
minutes away.
I know what you mean. Like, I was commuting up until the pandemic too. So
Hmm.
being in constantly what in Midtown was most of my jobs, but I've been
Me
everywhere in
too.
Manhattan from that. And you realize, especially once you interact with the residents and people there a while, that really is cramped, and you have to just really, really love it to be in
Yeah.
Manhattan, which some people do, and I could see why, but there
Mhm.
really is so much other great places in Brooklyn and
Absolutely.
even the Bronx, I mean, Queens. I mean, every single borough. And in fact, as we're talking, my brother committed to going to Wagner College in Staten Island, so that's just another place
Oh,
to go
very cool. Oh, congrats to your
discover.
brother.
Yeah,
The
so
campus is really, really nice there. I visited.
oh,
Very
yes,
nice.
it is. So
It's so
we're
nice.
happy for him. And I've only been to Staten Island a few times. When they had the Staten Island Yankees, I used to go to some of
Right.
those games. And now I just have more of a reason to explore it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And I love all of the boroughs of Manhattan as well. Like the city is sort of uh kind of been in my family for a very long time. So it's really
Yeah.
exciting to my both my parents are from boroughs. My mom's from the Bronx, dad's from Queens. So I feel like being in New York now, it's different since they
Mhm.
like moved upstate and like that's where I grew up. But they always would like talk about it. They're like, you should check if this bakery is still there. And like that's fun. Like, sometimes like I get to explore like what they remember from the city as well as like what I'm learning my own. So
You know what I really like about New York is like seeing like really old pictures, like from the 70s, 80s, 60s, and it really does look so much similar. Just the skyscrapers are it's bigger, I guess. But like some of the streets,
yeah.
some of this famous landmarks, it's you think it would be so transformed, but it really isn't. Some places
Yeah,
more than
no.
others.
Well, I think that's what's special about it is like you can build on top of certain things, but then there are these like iconic landmarks. And I whenever I like get a bagel from somewhere or I go to this like a deli, I do ask if I'm at the cash register, I'm not in a rush, I'm not late to something. I
Right.
I always ask like how long have you guys been here? And I love when they say it's usually like an old guy behind the counter. I love because his face lights up and he goes, "We've been here for 45 years," and like then he goes into this whole thing and he gets so excited. So it's really cool that like things like that still exist because it feels like you're a part of something
Yeah.
that's older than you, which is nice.
Absolutely, and it's worth these brutal winters, and then obviously post-pandemic too. So, it's just so much to look forward to, and
Yeah.
it's clear that you're someone who just genuinely. I understand the spectrum. People really love it, and people it's not for them. But for those who really love it, it's you can't
Yeah.
ask for more.
No. It's
It's
New York or nowhere.
Absolutely. One thing also, my dad's from the Bronx too, and my grandma grew up in
Hmm.
Manhattan. So also some family roots. And my mom grew up in Westchester. So I know what you feel finding those other places and seeing more. And if you ever seen, I do this like sometimes on Instagram, do these MB reviews where I would just go around specifically for local businesses, like a few
Okay.
years once I started working again. And so it's just, I guess it's
That's
really
really
rip
cool.
off of Dave Portnoy's pizza stuff, but it's all me. So, and I will
Hey.
review everything. I'll review movies too and landmarks. I once tried to MB review a bar in Jersey City,
Mhm.
and during which didn't work.
Okay.
I was just did that just all over the place. But yeah, it's
Well,
just the ambiance is nothing like it.
absolutely. I've been fortunate enough to be working all the way downtown. Since the pandemic hit, I didn't really feel comfortable returning to restaurant work,
Right.
which also is like it was crazy and insane and very fast paced. So this whole thing shook everyone's lives so much. But
Hmm.
I was fortunate enough when I got back to the city after spending some time upstate with my family to hit the nanny circuit,
All
which
right.
has
Yeah.
treated me really well. I have met so many like great families and wonderful people, and I'm downtown really by the Statue of Liberty. So like on my breaks, like that was my walk over the summer was
No
just to
way.
do the Hudson Walk. And yeah, and I felt really lucky because I was like, I know that the commute, it's not ideal. Like it is kind of far for me, but it's always worth it when I like get off the train and I look at where I am. I'm like, yeah, like this is what I'm talking about. Like it's not Midtown. I can see the water and there are
Yeah.
people there running and with their families because there's a lot of families down there. I don't know if people know this, but downtown is very like good for young people. But then these young people like grew up and like started families down there. So there's like a park every like 5 blocks and it's really homey.
Yeah. I think a lot of people assume Midtown that's New York City.
Yeah.
There's a whole other uptown and downtown place that's more residential and has more
Yeah.
of those breathing air. So I'm glad you sharing your examples to just prove exactly that.
You gotta explore. You gotta explore. Like you gotta go to places that aren't very touristy and or where people actually like live and breathe and work. And that's New York. It's not like, the Empire City. Like it's more than that.
Why don't we just quickly check on some of our favorite landmarks? And
Oh
this
wow.
counts as for all the 5 of the boroughs. So why don't you tell me a place similar to what you just mentioned before? What's like
Hmm.
one place to you specifically that you really like, that's as an awesome NYC landmark, or a popular spot that maybe not so many people know about?
Yeah, I would recommend all of the stuff on like the Hudson River Walk because
Mhm.
there's some sculptures down there. There's at the very tip of Manhattan, there is a sculpture that it's supposed to look like two eyes. It doesn't quite look like that. Okay, it looks like something else. But I actually like think that right by over the in that area, the eyes are like looking out at the water and the Statue of Liberty, and the sunsets are beautiful. It's right in near Rockefeller Park, and it's awesome. So that's one for sure for me.
All right. One place I really enjoy is down Alphabet City, is Thompson Square Park. Rice
Yeah.
Homey Park. I did a lot of couch hopping there when I was working at MTV down Lower East Side, and I just like real homey feel.
Yeah.
Maybe don't go between the hours of 3 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Maybe not. Maybe avoid it.
But
Yeah.
as any other place is scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really like that nice basketball courts. I especially in the summer, seeing people rollerblade. That's my
Yes.
type of vibe.
Absolutely. And I think that to Astoria Park, and I live right now very close to Astoria Park, so
Mhm.
I'm there very frequently. You got to get outside. I got to do something,
Tell me about it.
nowadays. So yeah, there's like tons of stuff to do, and it's really nice to like see that these amenities exist and they're so close to the city. So you get both like the best of both worlds. You get
For
your
sure.
green trees and like your big buildings, everything.
Have you ever seen Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown?
Parks Unknown. I know, but I've definitely heard of this because Anthony. Yeah, I've definitely heard of it.
Oh yeah, world-renowned world traveler, showcased the world. I know unfortunately he's no longer with us, but if you
Hmm.
have HBO Max,
I
I
do.
highly recommend it. And there's an entire episode on Queens.
Oh, awesome! And I
Everything.
have to watch it. I'm gonna have to.
I mean, he hits. I know he hits the story, but he hits like Jackson Heights and
Yes.
Flushing and Long Island City. So
Hmm.
I think you particularly would love that.
Oh, absolutely. And when things are like safer and more open, I really want to do more exploring because I only really had I had 6 good months here before
Mhm.
things kind of shut down. So
Oh, I'm
I have
sorry
so
about
much
that.
planned. I was a good 6 months. I really did a lot
Yeah,
in that
that's what I like to hear
time.
then.
So, but we'll get to it. I'll still be around. So
For
don't
sure, and
worry.
you're staying loyal, so it's gonna reward you. So as long as you just keep following the rules, it's gonna be
Yeah.
all worth it. Could you just tell me one other thing before we
Hmm.
just switch some gears? Tell me, Natalie, whether it's in Astoria, whether it's in Manhattan, Bronx, Staten Island, what do you think is the best pizza in New York?
Ooh. I have to say that best pizza in New York. Okay, Uncle Tony's on 146th. My friend worked there,
Ooh,
and we got pizza from there all the time because like he worked there, so it was very like, well, we'll go visit you at work, and it's life changing. It's right.
life
It's
changing.
I will say it's life changing. Yeah, that's pizza is worth that high acclaim. I think it's really good. Check it out.
And this is in Astoria.
No, this is on Manhattan. This
Oh,
is
41st in Manhattan. Okay, so
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. I think it's up there, and
Washington Heights type area up there.
yeah, yeah, like it's like Hamilton Heights, and
Mhm.
it's in a really great area near a lot of like universities. So they always have like students coming in. But imagine if your like pizza was like excellent pizza, like college pizza is college pizza, but this is like good pizza.
Oh man, that's humbling to hear. My pick for
Okay.
it is
Mm.
down. I guess you would put it's downtown. It's Prince Street Pizza. Nice
Oh my
big
gosh,
kind
I've
of
been meaning to
blocks.
go. I've heard of it. I've never been. I've almost gone like twice. I've never gotten in the door.
Oh, let me just do a quick Google, make sure it's still there. I
Oh, it
really hope
is.
it's still there.
This was
Okay, good.
recent. This was recent. Yeah. I've
Okay,
just
so
heard so many good things.
oh yes, they're nice fat blocks. They're literally on Prince Street downtown
Hmm.
in the Nolita area, just about.
Yes.
So like the NQR train, you can hop on there. So
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
fantastic. I mean, pre-pandemic, always long lines,
Yes.
open insane hours, and I'm just can't say anything else more about it. And
Well,
then
you're not the first to recommend it, so I have to get there and try that.
I think it's a sign something is telling you to check it out.
Yeah, I gotta. I must.
And could you tell me also, like, what was like some of your favorite, just like regular spots? Like, we, Friends, they have Central Perk. What
Yeah,
to you is like your Central Perk with your group of friends or
my Central
wherever?
Park. That's so funny because like I in the first like a couple months I was here, I tried a lot of new, obviously like explored and like got a lot of new things.
Of course.
Yeah, as far as like coffee spots go, there is a place on 38th, right near where I was taking class at UCBE, and I don't know, it was a culture coffee, which is like indeed a oh my gosh, like they have multiple locations. It's a chain. That's the word I couldn't find. It's a chain.
Okay.
And but yeah, but the vibe was really nice, and it was convenient because typically the spots that you end up liking the most are like what you know, and New York can be
Yep.
overwhelming at first. So I knew where it was. I knew I could get my coffee right before class, and the guy there was really nice. His name was Sam. Shout out to Sam.
Shout
He always
out to
like he like
Sam.
knew my order, which is also really nice. Like because you want to go to a coffee house where like someone knows your name, and that was like that was like check that off my New Year
That
list of goals.
that's how you know. Like my place also, this place, it's kind of a chain too. It's called oh man, why am I blanking? I could pull it up right now if you don't mind again.
Go
So
for
it
it.
is wrong, I'm looking at the wrong app. Uh okay, so don't worry guys, we're still here.
Yeah.
Uh
Coffee and pizza, pizza and coffee. That's New York in a nutshell, honestly. I'm actually looking up to make sure I'm giving you the right street. So we're both doing some quick
okay, yes.
38.
So I don't feel as bad.
No. No, you're good.
Okay, so the place that I am gonna make everybody feel very happy I didn't miss out. Okay, it's called the Mule, and it has the best muffin in this world, the best coffee. It's another like type of chainy place. I've only seen them
Yeah,
in Manhattan, the Bronx. I'm sure they're everywhere else, but
sure.
I mean, I love my muffins. After
Mule.
so, yeah, no, hard to forget too.
Wow.
And you know what? Also, the if you could find them too, just sticking on the restaurants and pizza. There's this place called another East Village spot. It's called Paul's the Joint Burger, and
Pause. Oh, cool.
it's like cash only, as local can be.
Yeah.
It's just you remember. I would suggest if you try to keep a healthy diet, use that as your cheat meal day.
Right.
It's fantastic, man.
Oh wow. I was gonna recommend what you just said, muffin. That reminded me of right by New World Stages, there is this bakery that had the best blueberry scone I've ever had in my life.
Oh,
I know, like I took a photo of it because I don't really do that often. I'm not like a person who photographs for food. I'm usually too hungry and impatient. However, it was beautiful, like fresh out the oven. It was excellent. So I know it's over by 50th Street. I'm trying to zoom in far enough to see if I can find what it actually is. But yeah, it was just so good.
scones have a special place in my heart because the
Mm.
first ever thing I ever made by myself was a scone with the Bisquick.
Oh my god,
First
that's
ever
oh wow.
when I was like
Oh
at
wow.
12 years old, and I haven't been there
Oh.
since. Take it to the
Okay, well,
bank.
you gotta get back on the scone game. I think that's really where it's at. If you like muffins, scones are it. Scones are your future.
I need to continue to enhance my skills, so I think you're right. I will take your advice on that. So, Natalie, one of the great things you've been mentioning that I really want to get into, as you mentioned, you are a woman of comedy and
Mm.
very funny. You were in the improv group Stop Laughing Mom at University of Hartford. You just mentioned you're taking classes at the Upright Citizen Brigade. It seems you're on, I mean, it doesn't seem, you are on a great track to much success in the world of comedy. I didn't even know you were doing stand-up too. So why don't we talk about comedy and you performing comedy? Why don't we hit on your improv, for instance?
Yeah, sure.
So why don't you walk me through how you got into improv, and then, if you want to hit on your Stop Laughing Mom, and how did you wind up at Upright Citizens Brigade, who has trained some of our great comedic minds of this world?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, I guess, just like anything else that you sort of end up loving, you sort of stumble into it.
Hmm.
And I don't want to say I quit a lot of things growing up, but I tried a lot of things growing up. Let's phrase it that way.
I like that.
I tried a lot of things. I was like doing, gymnastics and but a lot of like very like physical like activities and sports even, which
Mhm.
like if you know me, that's the coordination is really isn't there for that. I don't know where I was trying what I was trying to do,
As
but
long as you tried.
yeah, I tried. I got like I played soccer for like all of 2 games, got hit in the face with the ball, and I was like, I quit. So, but you try things. So I figured out somewhere along the line, I was a singer and I got into theater stuff and I was sent to a theater camp. And I was like really nervous though, because a lot of these kids I truly was intimidated by.
Yep.
And we took an improv class and I really liked my instructor. He was really cool. And I think that's sort of what launched me into being interested in it. And it was so scary. I remember like I was already nervous and it scared me the most. And I was like,
Interesting.
wow, why does this scare me the most? And then it became intriguing. And then the whole idea of acting and performing was something that, excited me, but also terrified me. So conquering that and getting more comfortable with that. And I love people. I'm a really big people person.
Mhm.
So I wanted to connect with people that way. And I think comedy in general brings us closer as people. So like,
Oh yeah.
and my family too. I grew up watching SNL and like Lucille Ball, Carol Burnett, and Megan Mullally. Like those are
Mhm.
like my idols from a pretty young age. So getting to be like maybe I could do that. Like that's where like the switch really flipped, and then it was kind of down all uphill from there. I was gonna say downhill, but like no, this is a good thing. Like,
Right.
but yeah. So then so I went to this camp, learned a little bit, and I was in middle school at the time, and I went back to my middle school director. I had to quit the volleyball team because I got a part in that play. I was like, I'm sorry, I got a part, and I'm Athena in the Idiocy. I gotta go. So
Gotta take opportunities.
yeah, right. So, but I went to her and I was like, "Hey, I maybe as warm-up games, could we do some improv games like at rehearsals and stuff?" And she was like, "Absolutely." Like, so I started leading like the drama club, doing things like that. And then when I was in high school, I took more classes and I went back and worked with the middle schoolers. And then we put on these cabarets where we played some short form, like in the style of like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yep.
Yeah, we played some of those and I loved it and a lot of people loved it. So it was something that everyone got excited to do and it makes you more confident. I think everyone should dip their toe into improv. I really do. It's so fun and it's very rewarding. And it is scary and I will say like most of comedy it's terrifying, but it's just to be able to laugh at yourself and not take things too seriously helps so much with a lot of things just in life in general. So yeah, then college, I decided to try out for the troupe, and that was a great experience for 3 years. That was awesome.
Look at that. It's funny, coincidentally, I speak to one of your fellow Stop Laughing Mom members, Chris Bailey, joins me tomorrow as we record. So put you guys back to back. So I'm in the presence of greatness, and I enjoyed spending my dollar for it. So it was genuinely a dollar well
Yes.
spent.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's true. I forgot we did that too. Yeah. Like we had a good thing going. I watched one of our openers back the other day when I was editing videos. It was in the corner of my screen, and I just had to like relive the nostalgia of just like silliness, like buffoonery, straight up buffoonery. So they were a really great group of people though. I had so much fun with them for so long.
Yeah, you guys are all your whole group was very talented, and it was a joy to watch. So
Yeah.
it's nice to see you all continuing your dreams one way or another. So one of the
Yeah.
things I would do want to ask with improv, as you mentioned, that everybody should do it, whether it could help, even if you're not necessarily pursuing a career in the art, it's still a good way to express yourself, get you more
Yeah.
comfortable. What would you add on to that, on why? Even for someone who isn't interested in performing per se, why do you think trying improv could be good for them?
I think that it's courageous just to try.
Yeah.
And that is sort of, you could hate it too, because there are people that are like, oh, I hate it. It's not for me. And that's fine. But to figure that out, to try and to put yourself in a position where you have to think on your feet and you trust yourself. You're going to learn, I think, hopefully the goal would be to learn that you're more equipped than you think you are. And
Mhm.
that's why it's a huge confidence booster. And that's kind of what it has been for me, even in things, in scenes that go terribly and in things that just, not even always for comedy purposes, because in my acting training, also did dramatic improv, and that left
Yeah.
its mark on me, because it's really building something from nothing in the moment. And that is the most authentic thing you can do, because it's just you have nothing to rely on, no crutch, and it's about like trusting the other persons or
Yeah.
people, and that's great. So like kind of learning how the biggest thing with it is to kind of engage with someone else and build something together, so that's I think why everyone should do it, is because it just can help you and one other person connect, and you're in this together, whether the boat sinks or floats.
Mhm.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of like going on a roller coaster. You're like, this could be whatever it's gonna be, like,
Absolutely. I
yeah.
love it. I love it. And uh one of the this my last thing hitting on the improv real quick is I
Hmm.
know I believe I believe is the number one rule or message is it's always yes and, right? Correct?
Yes.
That's the motto.
Yeah.
So could you explain to me and the audience what that exactly means? I'm sure a lot of people have heard that
Yeah.
phrase before when it comes to improv, but as you who's literally an expert in it, can you talk to me? What does that mean exactly?
Oh wow. So yeah, yes, and basically, if you and I were doing a scene right now, and
Mhm.
I said, well, like, wow, it's gonna be a great game today, implying we're like on a baseball field. You can't be like weird because we're on the moon. Like you
Mhm.
can't like just change like what's already kind of been established, because it's about building something. So
Yep.
saying yes and is agreeing and contributing and not negating and competing. So that's the difference. And that's the crucial point. That's why you hear it over and over again. And there are other really important rules when you get like into it, but the baseline is just roll with it. That's what it means.
I like it.
Surrender to it. Roll with it. Yeah.
Perfect Google image way to explain it. I appreciate it. Thank you. And what are some of your favorite improv games you mentioned? Like I know one game I heard. I don't know if you know Thomas Middleditch and Ben Schwartz. Ever heard of them?
Yes. Oh, I love their stuff. They're
Oh
so
yeah.
good. They're very, very good. Like that's the other thing, is once you have someone who you work with like on that level, that's the dream team. Like that was their stuff is so funny. I love that. Yeah.
Well, we all know here, me and the audience knows that you're on your way to their level. Uh,
So
so So just what are the questions though? So I know some of the games, one of the games they like to play, I've heard is like one game, don't laugh. And just that's,
mm,
you're just trying to make them not laugh or audience suggestions. Like what to you are some of the cool improv games to play and
yeah.
you like to do?
Well, I honestly, for most of my experience, I did short form improv, which is a lot of character based stuff, which
Mhm.
for me, I loved, because I loved like the same kind of feeling that like when you're in your Halloween costume. I forgive me because I don't think I'm prepared to say this. I'm hoping this analogy works. But if you're like in your Halloween costume and you're like, I am Batman, like I'm not me, I'm Batman. And you just kind of have that sort of like not disguise, but that like you take on that confident persona. And I think that's what short form character work did for me, where I could all of
Mhm.
a sudden be like an old man, or I could be whoever I wanted to be,
Yeah.
and or whoever my scene partner told me I was. And I'm not me for that moment. And so I love doing short form and character for that reason. Long form is something that I continue to work on, because that's what you see in those like, Middleditch and Schwartz specials. That's so excellent and so fine tuned and hard to do. It's just it's so fun, but you really have to listen. And I like it because it's tricky, and I like it because it's hard.
Cool. 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 That's
Yeah.
that's what we like to hear. Like JFK once said, we do things because they're easy, not because they're hard.
Hmm.
And my last thing that just really interests me that you mentioned, you've been taking classes at UCB. How
Yeah.
is that? What's going on? And how has the pandemic, made some adjustments to doing that? Are you guys doing virtual classes or just waiting this out? What's going
Mm.
on with the UCB right now and,
Yes. So
and prior to it?
yeah, I mean, 17-year-old me, when I really kind of figured out that was going to be a fixture of what I wanted to do. 'Cause, Amy Poehler was a huge
Yep.
like idol of mine, and she was on the ground floor of that. So and so many since, Abby Alana, Broad City, Donald Glover,
Hmm.
Aubrey Plaza, like all of these
Yep.
people that are just like so respected and so cool. So I knew I wanted to do that. 17-year-old me was super proud. I finally got to do it. I couldn't start right away. So I started in late January of 2020. So you can expect how
Mm.
that ended up. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to keep their real estate, but they swear they're still around, which is good. They still have some of my money. So, but I will be returning if they have classes because I really, really like the vibe there, and the teachers are really cool. The community. I think that's the other important thing is they had they had built such a community of people, and I was able to meet other people with similar interests to me. And being an actor, we're always around performative people, but it was really nice to meet like people who were like, oh yeah, I write sketch, or people who are just taking the class on a ground level to be like, yeah, I've never tried this. This sounds scary. Let's do it. And work with people who have not even acted and had no experience. And I think that's one of my favorite things to do. So I loved it there. I loved it there quite a lot. And I hope that they do come back strong. I think they still have some real estate down at Subculture, which is one of their theaters. But we're kind of told, like, hold on, and we're going to resume in person. They didn't do anything online, or they offered some stuff online, but it was more writing classes.
Hmm.
And I wanted to get through the improv first. My goal was to do all 4 levels and then hopefully be on like a house team and do the independent study and get certified to teach it. That was the goal. I hope I still could do that in the future.
Hey, it's never too late. I
Yeah.
feel we are all just, waiting for this all to end. The pandemic, most of all, obviously, most of all, we're just safe and healthy, and then
Yeah.
resume our lives and our
Hmm.
passions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we're once that's done, and we are as best I think, I'm not an expert, but I'm someone who trusts science and trusts that we're moving in the
Me too.
right direction, that, we are getting our vaccines, we're
Yeah.
having more programs to get them, and nothing but our love for our healthcare workers and people
Oh,
working
absolutely.
working the
Health
front lines to
first.
make
Yeah.
that. So, you
Yeah.
know, we are what's great about the winter, it is too cold to move out, and who knows what the spring brings as we continue to get these
That's
vaccines and stuff.
true. That is
So,
true. That is true. Yeah, I was really, really fortunate. I am half vaccinated right now, and
all
I'm going
right,
to get that second
awesome.
shot. I'm really, yeah, it's
Congratulations.
very exciting. I know.
Is
I'm
that
so
what you
excited.
just to make sure it is okay to say congratulations for that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I
cool.
felt
Just making
so
sure.
cool. Like I felt
And
so
thank you for your
unqualified. But yeah.
bravery and your bravery in showing that it's okay.
Oh my
So
God,
thank
it's
you for that.
so okay. I think that we all want to get back to life, and just going back to the community, like things like UCB and just like theater in general. I just wanted to touch on like that and the whole community of artists. Let's just
Yeah.
say, they always say after a plague there'll be a renaissance. I do feel that. I do believe that. And also I think that if anyone knows resilience and like retribution, it is the artistic community. It's artists.
Yeah, why don't we hop into that right away? Let's talk about the theater community and what amazing talented individuals like you and all our other friends and soon to be friends and people we don't know but are doing the right thing. Why don't you talk to me about in general what's going on with, at this point, February 2021, with the theater
Hmm.
community
Yeah.
and what we hope to see in the upcoming months, past
Yeah.
the pandemic, because I'm somebody who believes that art has really pushed a lot of people through this pandemic, even if
100%.
some people don't want to admit it, but it really has. But we appreciate our artists continuing to inspire, entertain, and inform us. So why don't you
Absolutely.
talk to me about what's been going on with that?
Yeah, I know that I can really only speak of like my web of artists and what I know is going on. I know so many things are happening which is like despite what's going on and us not being able to really get together. It's difficult acting, with like a ring light alone in your bedroom, and like then you click off and that's the show. There's no, applause, there's no audience. It's just a weird, very like substitutional way to do this. But the fact that it's still happening shows everyone that we are like ready and waiting. And I just really feel this energy coming up from once things are safe again and once we can do what we love to do and what we're qualified to do. That's really what it is like we have all of like a lot of people from different backgrounds, different walks of life. They become artists because that's what they are. So I really look forward to when everyone's kind of going to be able to explode and express themselves again. But the fact that people are doing Zoom readings and the
Hmm.
fact that people are doing podcasts, like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
clearly happening. It's clearly that we're still around. We're not giving up. We're not dormant. This isn't like a phase. Like it's
No,
gonna
it's
be
not.
great. It's gonna be great. If you've ever watched a Netflix show, art has benefited you. So
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
mean, that's my thing. Look at my wall. That's all. It's
Right.
all with it.
Exactly.
The artist. So,
All over
and
it.
just it also just a diverse. It's a diverse with that. I just whether I have Marvelous Miss Maisel or Jimmy Stewart or
Mm,
the cast of Atlanta and all my various movies there, you know,
yeah. You
I'm
got some great
somebody.
stuff on the wall.
Oh yes, if you don't mind, I could just do the quick twist,
Oh wow, I get a 360. Oh wow. Oh
especially
my gosh.
once once I can have people in this studio of mine, it's gonna be
That's very cool. You built that in quarantine?
yep, all that.
Oh,
I mean
what a
the
good
room was
project.
there, so I
Yeah.
just put every person, he, she, or they who inspire me, and of all, I think one of the unique things for me is I genuinely can be inspired by everything, by all of the genres and norms of people. Like I
Mhm.
said, who not a lot of people have a Jimmy Stewart photo with Marv Maisel and the cast of Atlanta on my side,
Right.
Community, or Curb and Letterman, and
Oh
uh
yeah.
I'm just somebody who really appreciates art, from art and storytelling in particular, from all walks of life. Like,
Absolutely.
w- name the TV show or movie, I'll watch it no matter what the genre
Mhm.
is, whether it's a hardcore macho man action thriller, or I like a or how to say, a calm, moving romantic comedy that shows
Yeah.
about love. I'm just somebody who just loves great stories, no matter what the language is and what year it comes
Yeah.
out.
Oh my gosh.
I,
Absolutely agreed.
and it's just, I'm somebody who gets inspired from it, and that's
Mhm.
why I have these, whether it's a podcast or a movie or TV
Yeah.
show or sports, that reminds me of what's possible and stuff.
100%. And
And
we're gonna create things when it's possible, like to do that, like full scale, go big or go
absolutely.
home, right?
That's what I think about every day when this is over. And like I said, I was commuting in the city and I miss it every day, and I just
Mm,
can't wait to go back. And after so I'm in production world and did a lot of
yeah.
broadcasting. So and I've also my brief theater stints have been with theater casting. I worked in Lawrence Stanzik casting office
Oh,
prior
that's
to
very cool.
this. So
Oh,
that's very, it's all near and dear to me, and I'm
yeah.
somebody who I just want to be myself, and this was a great way for myself. And then it was just one bad interview that I got rejected for. I was like, you know what? I'll make my own content and prove that I can do it, and prove it
Oh,
I
yeah.
can.
Oh, and so many people are creating their own content. I've been scolded for not being on TikTok. I made my first TikTok for my one of my film classes like this week. Like was so not about it. I'm not tech savvy, so
Mhm.
getting into it was very difficult. And but it's all with when it's not what you got, you work with what you got, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it's funny. You can That's what I enjoy about TikTokers. It's opening up more people who
Yeah.
are want to be storytellers and filmmaking aspects, and who wants to talk about these movies and are into all these types
Yeah.
of people now. So it's just it's great, and I'm not only doing this for my career, but I just genuinely love talking and pursuing it, and also
Mhm.
just want to give a confidence and and show the worth of my guests, whoever they
Oh
are
yeah.
too, and to provide that. So
Mm.
it's just as long as you're productive with it, and
Mhm.
I appreciate people like you who do stuff like that and pursue it no matter what.
Absolutely. You gotta move forward. You gotta, show make your stamp, make your mark. Leave your
Absolutely,
mark. Yeah.
for sure. So
Mhm.
speaking of leaving your mark,
Yeah.
if we could just talk about one of your other passions before we move back into some theater and movie stuff. One of the things, Natalie, that is great about you is you're someone who does the right thing, in my opinion, when pursuing things that need to be changed, whether in
Mhm.
terms of social justice, whether in terms of feminism, whether in terms of the rights of the LGBTQ community, and other various things that I'm sure I would love to hear
Yeah.
you discuss and provide and also teach other things you're passionate for and your things to change. Why don't you go through with that? We don't live in a perfect world, but believe there's always a great chance to change it. Why don't you talk about some of the things that you feel need to be changed and what you've been doing to help provide that change and hopefully what you want to see in the future?
Yeah, wow, there's a lot that comes to my mind.
We have
You
as
know,
much time as you want, so feel
oh
free.
gosh. Yeah, I think first of all, uh, there are a lot of conversations are now being had that were not able to be had in years past.
Yep.
So um, I also, even speaking to like my grams, who was like really around during a lot of like she was very socially active and she was like, you know what, it feels very similar right now because in big moments of change you dedicate yourself to that so then the next generation can pick up where you leave off. And I do believe that 110%.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean speaking of like we're all performers or we're business or whatever we are, we're people first. So
I agree.
being a person first, it means is that we have to look out for each other and not just worry about ourselves. And in a world where we can do that and sort of spread the wealth and make sure everyone is respected and just treated fairly, this is even in terms of this country that we are fortunate enough to live in. It's the liberty and justice for all, not some. So I think
Yep.
that is really important. And making honestly, it's time to listen though. I can say as much as I can say, but it really is time to listen to these people who have something that they need to say that needs to change and that so many people have been affected by. And I think it's important to be able to look beyond yourself and to see suffering and lend your hand if you can. That's the only way that these things we can right our wrongs. And whether that is like a lot of people, they'll like a page on Facebook or they'll make a donation, or
Mhm.
then some people, like fly to somewhere and do, build houses, whatever it is that you feel you can do to somehow move the human race forward is, I guess, that you dedicate your time. That is so important for all of us to step up and do and not sort of live in our own bubble, in our own world. So yeah, I guess that there's so much needs to change and there's so much that we can change together collectively. I'm very excited and also I think everyone's kind of ready to, that's in who we elect, that's in what how we just treat others just on a very simple
Yeah.
basic level, like how we treat each other. How do you treat your neighbor and how do you treat someone who you've never met and doesn't like look or sound or act anything like you? I think it's important to uh, be open-minded and to move forward in a very progressive way. And I actually appreciate because this podcast has a great range of people. I've like seen that you've had a lot of different people with their various beliefs, and I love the fact that we can reach compromises. I do believe when it comes to certain human rights, there is no compromise, and I think that that's where I'm going to stand today, and that's what I'm going to say.
Well, that was very admirable and inspiring. Thank you for sharing that with me, Natalie. And thank you for your kind words. And yeah, that's what I wanted to show, that we can have a compromise. And I think I've been fortunate enough to be born in be born in a background that can allow me to communicate with people from all walks of life.
Hmm.
And there's just naturally like that as a mixed race person, and it's been a blessing with that. And I just wanted to prove and show that maybe people we've seen from different backgrounds, and maybe at first we didn't understand, but I just wanted to show how human, how at the and that was the most important thing I got was from you speaking, was the importance of listening and the importance of understanding most of all that we're human and treated as human beings, no matter our orientation, no matter our gender, no matter where we come from. And that's really important for me to show. And I mean, I happen to be somebody who is willing to make that, but anyone could do what I do, as I'm just a human. And whether you're regular, whether you're able-bodied, whether you have to overcome from a disability of some sorts, we're all humans that can pull it off. And I just wanted to
Hmm.
really prove, if I could just, as I do this for my career general, but this is more important, just a purpose to show that. And And I believe what you're saying. If it was time for a change, maybe I didn't agree with how things were run for many years. Now it's for a change. It's also time to listen. It's also time to
Mhm.
listen to people that we don't agree with, but also give them the respect to do that. And if you
Mhm.
just I really believe in the golden rule: treat people the way you want to be treated. Not
Mhm. Yeah.
everybody follows that or listens, and that's what we
Mhm.
call losers. But just let them go and just make sure, and we just hope that they
Right.
find their own peace in one way or the other. So
Yeah.
yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that, and the importance of listening too.
Yeah, that comes first. That comes first, especially if you're not uh but if you don't belong to a certain group who is trying to speak up, you need to make space for them and put and give them the mic. That's what it is,
Yeah.
you know?
And it's worth hearing those stories. Like I said, everything is a great story.
Mm.
And as long as you have the patience for it, and it's worth having the patience, everybody can laugh, everybody can have the feels. We're inside out, all the emotions
Mhm.
hit.
Mhm.
So I just a strong believer in that. And I'm excited to be in a generation that is starting to see that as well.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I am hopeful.
Absolutely. Same here. So why don't we switch gears from there too?
All right.
And just one another thing I just want to hit on the comedy that fascinates me. I did
Mm.
not know that you were in the work that you have been pursuing stand-up as well. Why don't you
Mm.
walk me through your early stand-up career? How's that been going? How's it been generating material? How is Natalie Harde the stand-up aspect of your many
The
talents?
stand-up. I will say I have really I've written stand-up for quite a bit, actually. I
No
wrote a
way.
lot in college. Yeah, I did it in, like, an acting class, and then I was up there for, like, 20 minutes, and that you only had to be up there for 10 minutes, and I didn't
That's a great
mean
sign.
to. Yeah, I sat back down, and I asked, my friend Josh, I was like, "Josh, how long was I up there?" He's like, "You're up there for 20 minutes." And I was like, "Really?" So, then I was like, "Oh, wow." And, I mean, to be honest with you, it's no secret that I do like to talk. So
No
that's like
problem.
the
Gift of the
that's the
gab.
one. Yeah, I guess. So yeah, so I thought that's something I know I can do. So I
Mhm.
started. It's harder than it looks. It's very difficult, but I did stand up twice at two bars here in Queens. And the first time it was an open mic. They're like, "Do you have 5 minutes?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got 5 minutes. That's only 5 minutes." Turns out 5 minutes can be like an
Mhm.
eternity if you don't really realize. I wrote a bunch of new stuff too, which was a very ballsy move. And I stood up there and thankfully someone coughed during my set, which I was like, I was like, "Oh, sir, are you okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, yeah." And then like later I checked back and I was like, "Are you okay, sir? Are you okay?" And it was thank God he did that because honestly, I did not have 5 minutes. Um, so the next time I did it, I was feeling a little bit better. I knew what worked and what didn't. I added some more. And that's sort of what you have to do is like,
Yeah.
you got to try and fail. And that's something I am no stranger to. So I guess I'm really excited to explore it more. I didn't get to do it a lot before things got sort of went south. I started taking class at UCB and felt more comfortable with it and talked to other stand-ups. And that's I think where it comes from is like if I ask someone a question like, "Hey, like where do I go? What clubs do I hit up?" Because there's a circuit, there is, but
Yeah.
it's tricky. And there are bring shows. This is outrageous. There are bring shows you have to like bring people with you that have to buy two drinks and watch you do like your 3 minute slot. And
Mhm.
I have great friends who totally would they would let me drag them to those events. But I'm excited to do it more. The pandemic put a pause on it, not on the writing of it, but on the performance simply
Yeah.
because I felt without the ambiance and I felt without the actual human beings in the audience. It wasn't, if I'm just doing it to a camera, I'm not really understanding and feedback. And that's to me, it wasn't really stand up. I know people who have more experience can definitely make it work and they're killing it, but I'm very new at it. I'm very interested in it. And I think for sure it's something I'm going to continue to
Oh,
explore.
I'm really excited for you, Natalie. And if you ever need any help for those Brigger shows, I'll come and I could promote it for
Thank
the
you.
I could promote it on this show because I believe everyone has it in them to be funny and a great stand-up and leads them to great
Yeah,
success. So, and I know it's not
totally.
that easy. And comedians have a special place in my heart because they really grew our industry as podcasting. So
Oh yeah. Oh
that's
yeah.
why it's always special to me, and I always support anyone in those shows who need it. So I just love being in
Yeah.
that environment.
Like it's a great place. I mean, people go there just to laugh, and like go there to make fun of stuff that they see on the street, like observational humor or their
Oh yeah.
experiences. I talked a lot about my like personal life, which for me was weird because I was like, I'm just
Mhm.
telling a bunch of strangers like facts about like me
Right.
dating and my parents and stuff like that. It's so strange, but it's really freeing, you know, it's like cool because that doesn't matter. Like they're not
Right.
gonna know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the that's everybody, even the greats bomb and
Oh yeah.
trying to figure out materials. I don't know if a great Netflix movie. Well, it's on Netflix. It's not a Netflix movie. It's called
Okay.
Comedian. It's
Mm, mm, mm.
have you seen it?
I have.
Seinfeld and Orny Adams, and that showing that even it was hard for him to create material. He was Seinfeld after the Seinfeld sitcom success, and
Yeah.
Orny trying to pursue it. It's a craft that you do have to earn your keep and pledge through, but at the end of the
Mhm.
day, you have a pretty great job, and you and you distract a lot of people from things for good
Yeah,
reasons, and that's
absolutely.
just why stand-up's always a special place in my heart.
I've always loved stand up, and I think actually my favorite comedian right now is Beth Stelling. She came out
Mhm.
with a 2020 special called Girl Daddy, and it's just like
I've
I
heard of
kind of
her. I've
I
heard of
feel
her.
like that's the first time I saw someone. First of all, we had the same haircut. We were taking the same medication for acne. So I was like, oh my God, she's me. Like it was like one of the first things I was like, this is so crazy. Like I saw someone who I thought, you know, I could definitely do this. And then since then, I've researched so many, you know, stand-ups that are women mainly. Like I'm really
Yeah,
focused on women in comedy. There's a lot of greats, but I feel like, you know, it's so cool to hear stories that I can identify with.
right.
And that like I was like, yeah, I talk about that stuff too. Like it's cool like to feel as though there's definitely like not only an audience for you, but a community of other like badass funny people who
Oh,
want to talk about stuff that you want to talk about.
I love hearing female comedians because just hearing all those perspectives, and funny is funny, whether you're a Nikki Glazer or a Wendy Williams or a it's hard, her name's it's I know I'm gonna botch it, but Irene Schlesinger.
Oh, Eliza Schlesinger.
Yep, Elijah
Yep.
Schlesinger. And my
Yeah.
favorite female comedian is Annie Letterman. Have you heard of her?
Mm-hmm,
I mean,
mm-hmm.
she has a really cool overcame a lot of obstacles. So I just
Yeah.
support anybody being funny. So
Oh yeah, just telling their stories and like making people laugh. That's a really noble yet silly thing to do. I like it.
absolutely. And you know who you'd actually want funny story. Caroline's Comedy Club.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I interviewed to be Caroline's assistant.
How'd it go?
Well, I think it went great. So I happened to saw it in Indeed, and I applied, and I got through my screen. I guess I interviewed with her previous assistant, and then I just went up to Broadway, top there, and I went at like 12 in the afternoon on a Thursday, again right before the pandemic, and
Ah,
I was just I she made me wait for like 15 minutes in the comedy club by myself. Nothing was there,
oh.
and then you just see this person who helped so many careers, and it was just really easy because I listened. This was before I did the podcast, and again, pre-COVID, this happened
Mm.
the very last week of February, so we're hitting a year, and it was just easy to talk. I just talked comedy with her about 30 minutes, and then also just
That's
showing
awesome.
my pursuit of why I felt I'd be a good assistant to her. And
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know, she said amazing things, and she said it was a pleasure to meet me. I mean, not to toot my own horn or anything like that.
No,
Um,
please, go ahead.
I'll
I've
go
been.
all day with that. Uh,
Yeah, that's so cool.
it was just I really appreciate her considering me. You know, obviously I never heard what happened, but also the pandemic. So who knows?
Yeah.
I just hope the comedy club's still open. And as long as I can at least get her respect, that's really all I cared about. And then it made me feel comfortable if I could speak to someone of high power like that. I could do that for
Yeah.
anyone. And
Oh yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
it
That's
was
so
just really
cool.
podcast that made it comfortable to speak. And yeah,
Oh
so
yeah.
I figured if she could consider me, hopefully others will too. And
Absolutely.
no
So,
one
oh,
says no.
something touching on the comedy clubs right now are suffering in New York. So if
Yeah.
anyone like has any spare change and they can throw them that way, I would appreciate it. So one day I could
Please.
also do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Great things are happening though. I know when it was warmer out, they did stand up in the park where all the parks
All
had these
right.
awesome stand up shows. I went to a lot of them, and these are all people from like Comedy Central and like the late night
Hmm.
show circuit and stuff like that. Very cool. Lots of fun. And then when it got cold, this I find just hilarious. They filed as a religion called Temple of Laughter, so they could start doing stand up in churches.
Oh, well,
So smart.
that's something I
So
support.
yeah, I thought, I mean, like, kind of like spooky doing stand up in a church, like, I guess, but still, like, that's so cool. So I thought that was awesome. I
One
know.
way or the other. And yeah, no, seriously, support the comedy clubs, not only for the comedians, but for the staff, the
Exactly.
serving staff, the people who cook.
Yeah,
Everyone needs it, whether you're comedy sellers, your Gothams, Carolines, Bostons, like those
exactly.
Manhattan ones. I'm sure you're more versed.
Yeah.
I mean, you even know even more in the other outer boroughs, but to help, please help them out.
There are some, and there's one in Queens specifically that, I'm trying to like go, just like they had lemonade. I was like, I'll take 3
Mhm.
lemonades. Like I just like stay open
Yeah,
because we all need a place to get our start and to
absolutely.
earn our keep.
Do you know which club that is off the top of your head?
Yeah, it's QED. Yeah, it's called QED, and it's like right near my apartment. So it's really nice that it was right there, and I just could walk in.
Please help our friends at QED and everywhere else.
Yeah,
Seriously,
yeah, yeah.
and just always support your local businesses in general.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Truly support local, buy local. It's good. We can do it. We could do it. Not everything has to come from Amazon, guys. We got it.
That's what I prefer. I prefer the local ones. It's just another kick, and that's
Yeah,
the best part of. That's my best part of life. It's just seeing what the other ones. Corporation and mainstream beauty can only go so far. You only have
truly.
so many Big Macs.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want your thing just to be a number. Someone baked that croissant with love. Buy that croissant.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
seriously. As uh, and let's why don't we just hit on some of the things in general as we talked about our walls and just other arts. I just is so curious, Natalie. What are you binging right now? What are your things you're
Oh,
watching? Just
okay,
so we
let's
could geek
see.
out on movies and
Yeah,
TV just cause.
absolutely. As of late, I had to like scale back. I felt like I'd watched so many things over and over again because we all get in that habit, right? Where we
Oh
watch
yeah.
like the same show because it's comforting. Because you're like, and then I would say the lines along with the TV show. I'm like, this has to stop. This is enough. Because in quarantine, what else are you doing? Let's see. I love. There's a show I love. Um, so it's on Hulu. It's a comedian I saw right before the pandemic went, and he is just like so charismatic. His name is Josh Thomas,
Josh
and
Thomas.
yes, and his show is called Please Like Me. It's on Hulu. It's a wonderful. It's Australian. It was from formerly on Pop TV, and then it came to, I think he now has a show on Freeform.
Mhm.
He is now doing It's Gonna Be Okay, or It'll Be Okay. Oh, now I'm blanking on the name of his Freeform show. However, he's wonderful. And this show, a bit of a trigger warning, they do talk about mental health quite a bit,
Mhm.
but I saw these characters, loved these characters. It was a very quirky show. Every episode is titled the name of like a dish that he cooks because he's also like likes cooking.
I like that.
Yes, and then somehow in the episode he'll like make it, but it's not the focus at all. The focus is the characters. He wrote it with like his best friend. That's always the best stuff. Like when people who like each other write something and it's not,
Mhm.
super corporate, you always get some really authentic conversations and some really great ideas. So I loved that show. Got to watch that in quarantine. I'm trying to think about if there's any other ones because I also watched a lot of like cooking shows and a
Hey,
little bit of reality
stay
shows.
entertained. And I think the
Yeah.
show you were mentioning, I just looked up. It is called Please. I'm sorry. Everything's gonna be okay. Yes, you did it.
Yes.
You hit it right.
Yes. Great.
Him and Kayla Cromer, I believe it
Yeah.
is.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So that he's got some great stuff, and I was able to see him down at Soho Playhouse, right? Like literally a week before things shut down, and
How about that? Wow.
I know I like just took. I actually got the last ticket. Someone from UCB who worked at the theater was like, "Hey, there was a cancellation." I was like, "Oh my gosh," just because I had just watched his show for the first time, and was like, "This guy's great. He's so like very authentically himself," and I think that's really important to bring onto screen. Yeah.
That's what I like to and showing those other stories. And even if when we do portray stories of mental health that, as long as we do it in a genuine, delicate way, and
Oh
it
yeah.
still can be, it can be and will be entertaining as long as it's good.
Yeah, and it's also from his personal experience too. So that's something that is like important to note, is that he
Yeah.
brought it in such a really eloquent way. And even like the shots, like the nature shots when they go hiking are beautiful. So every part of the show, I was
Oh,
like,
I
this is
appreciate that.
excellent. I'm gonna recommend this to people. And everyone I've recommended it to has really liked it. And I've watched a lot of other stuff, but right now my brain is just shuffling through. I just started Search Party, like just started Search Party on
Mhm.
HBO Max. Um, 'Cause I recognize the actress who played Maybe from Arrested Development, and I was like, "That's her all grown up."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
I
heard
don't
I've
know
heard
her.
good things about that. I mean, I love HBO Max so much.
Oh
That's
my
good.
god, me too. It's
That's
the only
good.
subscription I pay for. I totally cop all my other prescriptions.
Yeah, I fiddle my way through it. I mean, I just watch every, as I mentioned, everything I can. And one great Hulu show, if you haven't seen, when you were saying stand-up comedian Hulu, I thought, is it going to be the one I'm thinking of? But you just did
Oh,
another great suggestion, which I like. But I really like the show Rami, which is about
yeah.
featuring Rami Youssef, and it's just showcase a millennial living in, well, it's Jersey City, so pretty much that New York
Mhm, mhm.
connection, and is a
Yeah,
Muslim millennial, and just shows that he just, in a both
yeah.
very great dramatic and very funny way, just showing
Mhm.
what it's like to be him. So I can't
That's
say
yeah, and
enough
he
good
won
things
for
about it.
that too.
Yes, he did.
So
He won
that's
the Golden
excellent.
Globe, and
Yeah.
if you've seen the Golden Globe noms today, he was nominated again for the second
Oh,
season.
that's excellent. I haven't seen the Golden Globe noms today, so I need to look that up when I get home.
Cool, cool. Well, do you
Yeah.
have a computer real quick? Do you want to just, if you want to just,
Hmm.
because I haven't
I'm in
seen it
front of
either.
a Oh, wow. Okay. I am. You know what? Here, I'm going to use my phone just because this isn't my laptop. And as I mentioned before, tech is not my thing. I don't want to burn the place to the ground.
Don't
All
worry, we
right.
have the, take your time. Do you want, why don't we, you want to just look really quick, like real skip, see if there's anything that catches your eye?
Let's see. Golden Globe. All right. So I'm looking up the Golden Globe noms
And I'm
for
doing the same.
2021. All right. Let's see.
Because it's going to be co-hosted by the two legendary Tina Fey and Amy Poehler in different places. Tina Fey from New York, Amy Poehler from LA.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's gonna be really cool. I'm so stoked they're doing it again. It's pretty
Oh yeah.
legendary. It's kind of like the feel good stuff people need right now, is they need to see like people they know and love
Oh
on
yeah.
screen do it, still making stuff. I mean, Parks and Rec did that reunion in the beginning of quarantine,
It
and that
was
was
great.
everything that I'd ever hoped for. So that was such a feel good. All right, the
I
78th Golden Globe.
I
Let's
actually
see.
have Tina and Amy. Uh, they have their
Oh,
section
excellent.
up there,
Oh
so
wow. I
better
love
than low.
both of their books. I have read both of their books multiple times, I think.
I've only read Tina's book, but I still have to get to
Oh,
Amy's. But I love
Amy's is
Velocity so bad.
excellent. Oh yeah. Actually, I bought that in the library at UHeart. I walked in, it was right
Oh
there, and
yeah,
I was like,
that's smart.
perfect. Yeah, I walked in, it was like right in the front, and I was like, that they knew I was coming today.
I
So
just got
yeah.
this new
Okay, let's
i.
see.
I just got this new iPad. Maybe that'll be my first book for it.
Okay. I think that's a good idea. I was so touched by her book. I think she just it's like hanging out with a really fun person, you
Oh
know?
yeah,
Very good.
and I really like Tina's side of things, and her not being discouraged, even starting a little bit later, and just knew she
Mhm.
had her
Mhm.
worth, and she is where she is and deserves it.
100%. 100%. It's so cool. Everyone, I also read a lot of autobiographies. Like,
Oh, that's my
and
shit.
that's right, me too. Like, I don't read a lot of, I watch a lot of obviously like content, but I don't read a lot of fiction. If
Mhm.
it's like a play, that's different. But, you know, but I read a lot of autobiographies just because I'm like, what got you to where you are? Who are you really? At getting the
Oh
narrative,
yeah, that's
you know?
especially that with podcasts too. Well, the specific was the Mark Maron. What the fuck with Mark Maron? If you ever seen it,
I've heard of it. No, I've never seen
oh, Natalie, every
it.
every relevant person in the entertainment world has sat down with Mark Maron. He has a spot here. He's most influential podcast, one of the most influential podcasters to me, and that his spin is just getting the origin stories. I mean, you name it, he, she, or they've been on it. Leo
Yeah.
DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, I mean, like James Caan or
Hmm.
the late Robin Williams, which is a hits you hard on that one, was so
Yeah.
funny.
Oh yeah.
I mean, where do I go?
It sounds like he's had a lot of people on
I'm
there.
sh-
That's
yeah,
I gotta check this out. I gotta check this out.
twelve
I
thousand.
just looked at the
1,200 episodes. There's someone here for everyone,
whoa.
and just get lost in it. I highly recommend it, and
Oh
a lot of
yeah.
them on YouTube. But you were
Great.
saying, what were you thinking of the Golden Globes?
So actually I just because I just saw this, I was like, all right, hold on. So Palm Springs, which I think was on Hulu, was a Hulu movie, is
Yeah, with Andy Samberg.
nominated. Yeah, I loved that. I thought the writing on that was actually really, really good.
Oh
And
yeah,
what is the actress's name? Because I love her. She was in How I Met Your Mother. She's the
yes.
mother.
Uh,
Wow.
and she was also in Wolf of Wall Street. If you
Yeah,
don't,
she's great. I'm just looking now at like I'm like, wow, I there's some stuff I have yet to see. I did kind of slow down my roll on
yeah, this
watching
is
new
just.
stuff.
I was just looking, just your general reactions is what you've seen. If
Oh yeah.
uh,
Oh, I saw Soul. Soul is excellent. I'm glad that's nominated. I haven't
great,
seen Onward. Onward is something I really wanted to see as well, but I haven't.
great Tom Hardy's in that, and Chris Pratt. Kristen Milotti.
Kristen
That's her
Milotti.
name.
Okay, great. Great. Because she's also she was in Once on Broadway. I saw her in that as well. So she's very, very
Oh,
talented. She's pretty great.
speaking of Broadway, we had a Hamilton nomination for Best Musical or Comedy.
Yeah. Oh wow. Isn't that great that was
Oh,
that was on Disney Plus? Like I watched that with some of the kids I
yes.
nannied, and it was my first time seeing it. So they were
Oh,
really into
wow.
it, but I was like, guys, shh. like
This is
like we're
it. This is
watching this.
everything here.
Yeah. It was
And
magical.
it deserved it. It's just shot. It's shot so well. It's
Yeah.
just portray the story, and it's sometimes when you portray theater to screen, it's either hit or miss depending on what your camera angles are and your lighting for that. But I think it
They did
deserves
a
its
great job.
nomination for that. So
Agreed. They captured it very well. I've seen it more than once on now that I had it, I was like, oh wow, I guess I gotta
I have
it's
a
a
Lynn.
luxury.
Lynn is up in the top right hand corner. He's harder to
Lynn's
single out,
there.
so I got there for everyone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that's so great. So I'm trying to see like what else have I seen, man? What about you? What is that stuff on here that you are glad it's there?
So one thing, if you have Amazon Prime, if that's one of
Hmm.
the services you're mooching off of,
Yes, it
uh,
is.
The Sound of Metal, which was is a top 10 movie of my life. Now,
Hmm.
it didn't get a Best Picture nominee for a Golden Globe. Hopefully, it will with the Oscar. But
Okay.
Riz Ahmed getting a Best Actor nomination is extremely well deserved. The Sound of Metal is
Mm.
about a drummer who loses his hearing and becomes hearing impaired. He goes
Oh,
deaf.
yes. I
And
I saw the trailer to this. Yeah.
this movie, it's the best part of movies when it can really make a profound effect on you. Because of the
Hmm.
sound, it really brings you in for someone who loses their hearing, and it
Yeah.
also brings it into. He goes to a rehab of people who are learning sign language, who are deaf, and it's does it in a non corny and a non throwing down your face way. So
Good.
it's very important. It's an important film for me. It's got the feels, and I'm glad he got a Best Actor nod. And the sound mixing design, so we can understand like
Yeah.
some of the aspects of that is bar none. And I really
I love
really highly recommend it. So I'm glad to see that off the
Yeah.
bat. You know, seeing the prom get nominated now for music or comedy. Now I do think the prom's good. I think that even for its predictability, I do think there's some amazing talented singers in there, but
Mhm.
I do think some of the things could be different. So I'm not
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah, not I wasn't too thrilled with
amazed
that either. No,
amazed with it.
I wish honestly, I really wish they had some original cast who had worked on the show for like 10
Yeah,
years
that's
who
the
weren't
thing
given
too.
they weren't given the chance to audition. I thought that wasn't fair. And it came in right after there was like a lawsuit that happened and they
Yeah,
had
that
Ryan
inspired the
Murphy.
that inspired the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, yes, because like Ryan Murphy just like bought it before that happened and called his usual team. And it's great to have a great like community that you go to for of like actors you can call on, but these are people that definitely deserve an opportunity and a chance. So it was fun. It was a fun show to watch, and everyone was great in
Exactly.
it. But
Exactly. It's
I'd
just
rather
no
see some
offense to
new
them. It's
faces.
just not Best Picture
Nah,
nominee.
yeah, I don't agree. But I also see oh gosh, On the Rocks, Bill Murray is
I
nominated.
still got to see that.
I still have to see that too, but I saw the trailer and I was like, Bill Murray. Like I'm so happy.
And it's the
I
great
love Bill
Sofia
Murray.
Coppola directing. She's always hits it out of the park. I like seeing Borat though for what best
Oh,
I do like. I thought the second Borat, I was Well, actually, I was happy to see it. A lot of people are saying they don't need another Borat. I was like, this is one of the best characters ever, and
Like,
so funny.
oh
Uh,
my,
doesn't take it out of the edge. Doesn't make it cringy. It was just a funny commentary on American society. So,
oh my gosh. That I watched most of that with my jaw on the floor. Like it was just so wild. I was like, I can't believe this exists. And I also can't believe
yeah.
that like Sasha did this. That's excellent.
Oh man,
Crazy.
he for our
Ooh,
whole world. He's a special person for us, and we got to give
agreed.
credit to Maria Bakalova, who's going to be going far. He played the daughter of Borat
Mm,
Tatar.
mm, mm.
So,
So
and
yeah, so far that's incredible. What like wow, that's so like
right.
truly insanity.
And like you mentioned, I'm somebody who supports discovering new actors and giving them an opportunity. And she was
Yeah,
an unknown. I actually think she was from Bulgaria originally, and
that's
where
so
she's at
excellent.
now.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. And especially with like a lot of the content that has been created just like in the pandemic, it's
Yeah.
been like the same people who can afford to like build a studio and pay to quarantine and whatever.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of new faces that I hope we get to see. And I'm not talking it just about me. I'm talking I'm talking about everyone. I'm just
I
talking
mean,
about like
we're adding you to that, but I'll speak for
yeah.
you then, and all the other
Thank you.
actors who deserve a
Thank
chance,
you.
because I'm
Yeah.
somebody I genuinely care for seeing people get their spot.
Yeah. Like, and it's great. It's really great to see. I feel like when one succeeds, like you also succeed as an
Yeah,
actor. Like to see someone like from like get their spot, well deserved. You know,
absolutely. And
that's
I'm
awesome.
sure that's the same in the comedian world too, seeing and
Yeah,
supporting all those.
I hope so. I'm really eager to get into what the comedian world is going to be. Eager and well, and a little nervous. But yeah.
Well, we know you got it in you, so
Hey, there
great
we
to see.
go. Wow, the
Also,
Queen's Gambit on here, The Undoing, Miss
also,
America, great,
I still have to see that and Miss
great.
America, but I love Kate Blanchett.
Hmm.
But we have the late Chadwick Boseman getting a nomination for Best Actor, so I was special, and he was awesome in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
That is something I have to see. I'm waiting for some friends to see that with.
Mhm.
They're all going to do like a viewing, but wow, was he such a gift? Was he so special?
Definitely,
Hmm.
definitely, will never be forgotten.
Absolutely not. Schitt's Creek, yes, Schitt's Creek's on here. Annie
Dan Levin
Murphy.
hosts SNL this week.
I am so excited. Do you see SNL last week?
I did.
I was
Did you
actually
like
like,
it
yeah, I
with
liked it.
John
I'm like,
Krasinski?
yeah, I thought I was like I love John Krasinski. I'm not even gonna lie. So I was gonna watch it regardless, but I was like impressed. Maybe it's because it was like the first right out the gate, because sometimes I do feel like it gets a little bit, especially with all the stuff that was going on. It
Yeah.
was like a lot of everyone on us, every time something happens in politics, people on SNL like just gravitate towards it and eat it up and like put it on screen,
Mhm.
which is awesome. That's like their job, that's what they're supposed to do, but it's also hard to like laugh at when you're living through it.
Oh yeah.
So this is a really nice like change of pace, a little bit of a pivot, and
Yeah.
I loved the cold open. Anything Kate McKinnon ever does, I saw her get off the train once, and I literally was like in awe. I think I cried. Like so,
She's
anything
like, it's
she
okay.
yeah. Oh my god. Like no, she was just walking to work, but our walk to work was the same, and I was running
How
late.
about that?
Oh yeah, I just was like I was running late and I saw her and I was like, I didn't know, I froze in time and I was already late. I walked into the restaurant and my manager was like kind of like gave me a look and I was like, I just met Kate McKinnon. I didn't
He's
speak to
like,
her at all.
that's great, Natalie. Now go get to work.
Yeah, I just looked at him with a big smile on my face and just told him a bold-faced lie because of how happy I was. So yeah,
I mean, I do the same thing, to be honest with you. You know who I
right.
saw on the subway?
Oh,
I saw Rachel Dratch once, like
oh
with her
my
kids. Like
gosh.
it was like a really packed subway, like morning commute one, pre-pandemic, of course.
Oh,
And
of course, of
she
course.
was just chilling there, honestly. Like essentially the way I'm speaking to you in this camera was how
Hmm.
close me and her were. And
That's insane.
I was just, in my head, it's like, hey Rachel, what's up?
I
And
know,
she was like, hey,
in my
what's
head, right.
up?
I never
Like,
want
what
to
about
bother
your
people, but even if I say Jason Momoa came to after he was on SNL, came to Del Frisco's,
hey, did you say what's
and
up? Doesn't he have an
I
after party to go to though?
I know I don't know if it was that night, but
Okay,
he was in town for that,
I see.
and I literally can't believe, but I like called out that night. And I didn't get
Oh,
everyone the next day. I was like, "You'll never believe Aquaman was here. Like he had a porterhouse by himself, took it out in 3 minutes. Like it was, so
Did he
that was
really?
really funny. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
It's nice to hear.
So the legend goes. I wasn't there.
Whole porterhouse to the face. Well, I mean, we
Yeah.
know where he gets his body. So
Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. But yeah, every time I see anyone famous, I'm always like, I would know I'd be probably really cool. I'd talk to them really cool. That's never the case.
oh man. Yeah, I've seen a lot of them from work, and just understanding that they're just, as you said, people too, and
Oh,
just
I
gotta
know.
make them comfortable to showcase their talents.
Easier said than done. For some reason, I get all weird.
Oh
I
yeah.
get all kinds of weird.
Well, we just know that you'll just be a part of their company, and
It'll become normal, I guess. One day.
just no awkward. I've heard we've had on the show. We talked a lot of funny, awkward celebrity counters, and we had Jada Lee on. She told me that she saw Lindsay Lohan downtown in the West Village.
Was she okay?
I guess this was, yes, an okay phase of her. But
Great.
but long story short, she went to get a cigarette and she smoked too, and was like, I'm gonna ask for her lighter so we can interact, and
Yeah.
and then so she gives the lighter and she says, you can have this. I don't want anything to do with you. That's what Lindsay said.
Oh wow. So this was a good phase of hers, and she was like, "This is yours now. Take my lighter." But I'm sure she still has the lighter, right? She's like, "This was Lindsay Lohan's lighter."
Knowing
That's
her
so
probably,
funny.
but
I don't want anything to do with you. Wow. Honestly, I would have been like, you were great in The Parent Trap, and that's where it ends. Like I actually
Mean
lies.
Girls
I
too.
just watched Mean Girls was excellent. I just watched. It's so bad that it's great. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
oh gosh.
Is it Elizabeth Taylor?
Confession.
Uh,
No, it's the teenage drama queen one where she's oh, it was like a not a it wasn't a Disney Channel original movie. That's an important thing to note because there is some suggestive behavior in it. But it was like
is it her like living in the floor in like Manhattan, really rich?
yeah, well, no, it was like it's basically she goes to high school and then she like there's a band that she loves. She's at a new school in New Jersey. She moved from the city to New Jersey. I watched it when I was younger and I rewatched it with a group of people before the pandemic. And I was like, this is so terrible. But I loved this movie growing up. I knew all the words to the songs and everything. And Lindsay really had something about her, I guess, because she worked for quite a while.
Yeah, she genuinely had some talent in there, and she had the chops. But it is too bad what happens to some people who get caught up in it.
I know. But that's so funny, the lighter thing. I'm not over it. That's hilarious. I don't want
Uh,
nothing. Like, what would you do? Like, wow.
I'd be heartbroken. I'd be sad, but I'm
Yeah,
just like,
ruin my day.
that's my fear when meeting a celebrity. I understand that people, they get this all the time, and you act like I'm the only person who recognizes them. So it's just,
Yeah.
I just want to, be met up in other ways, like if we could do a podcast and stuff, and
Oh,
like that.
absolutely. Like that's the goal, right? Like is to have something in common or something to accomplish. And I think that's
Oh
you're right.
yeah,
Like they're all just people like us, and that's great. Actually, who's the most famous person you've ever met?
that's a great question. The most famous person I've ever met and like interacted with and say, hey, how are you?
Mhm.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think myself, but I've really not met many famous people at this point in life. I lied about meeting Kate McKinnon.
Hey, but you were in her company though.
I saw her from
So
across the street.
like I get to, as I pictured, like the people, like the famous people been around, like Jake Gyllenhaal was when I worked at
Oh,
Sirius. I see them all when I worked at Sirius all the time. I'd see like William Shatner, Stephen A. Smith, and
oh my gosh. Wow, wow, wow.
one of the most I learned I had to earn my keep in this business was this was my first week. So my first show, I worked for the Michelangelo Signorelli show on Sirius XM Progress.
Cool.
And he brought on Laverne Cox of Orange is the New Black. So I'm just like, yes, this is my chance to meet Laverne
Laverne
Cox.
Cox, yeah.
I get this is my first big Hollywood story. I'm gonna start like that. And then my producer said, Matt, you have to edit audio. And I'm like,
Oh.
didn't even. And I remember this was so naive of me. I remember I had an Entertainment Weekly of her on the cover,
Oh
and
wow.
I was gonna even though I knew beforehand I probably shouldn't do this, but if there's any sneaky way I could do it, I'll just try. But I just never got the chance at audio. But
Ah,
I have the podcast, so I guess it was worth it.
yeah, I guess so. I guess so. You know, it's one of those things. Like obviously, like
Yeah,
I've met some people like after concerts, getting autographs, so after like a Broadway show, whatever. But I think for me, I think it was Casey Wilson, former SNL
yeah. Oh
cast
yeah,
member.
I know
Yeah,
she.
yeah. So that was, I think she's the most famous. I feel like I'm forgetting something major, and like tonight I'll wake up in the middle of the night like I forgot about this, but
Shit.
I'll let you know. I think that's it for me right now.
Oh, that still counts. Casey Wilson. I mean, I love her in Black Monday on the
Mm,
Showtime show. If you heard of that, I
yeah,
know
yeah. Oh,
she did
absolutely, she's
Gone
great.
Girl and Julie and Julia, so
Hmm.
she was great.
She's
Yeah,
awesome. I like
was
her a lot.
and but probably the most famous I actually met. Say, hey,
Mm.
how are you?
I feel like, yeah,
Is
I felt like I was like, you would probably know someone.
so I already mentioned before was Anthony Bourdain when I was
Yeah.
his gopher. I was an intern at CNN, so that's where
Oh, okay. Got
I
it.
was a talent intern, and I remember I remember again, I didn't know how famous and how impactful he was,
Oh my
but
gosh.
I just was. So we're in Columbus Circle and go out and say, "You have to get Tony, Matt, my producer, Brittany." So I just see him smoking this American Spirit, hanging out. I guess he got off of his car, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Bourdain, this is Matt. This is my ID. Nice to meet you." And then he wouldn't talk to me the rest of the day. I just had to walk him around and see
Oh
him
my
talk with other
god.
people, but
Right.
it's fine. I just knew that
Yeah,
there's a price. I'm an intern, so I just had to earn my keep. So it was no
I
hard
guess
feelings at all.
so.
So
Wow. And I think it's crazy. Like don't know what it would be like to be that famous and like to
yeah.
just get to walk around. I'm sure he, it's annoying when people like, ask you questions and badger you for stuff. But
Oh
you
yeah.
gotta be people first. You gotta be people first.
Absolutely. And as you meet any stranger, that's how that comfortability comes in and
Hmm.
makes you stronger together. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but Natalie, we've been doing great content for over an hour
That's
and a half. This has
crazy.
been
Oh wow.
I hope you've been enjoying it as much as I have.
Yes, absolutely. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. I hope you want to do it again, especially if you have shows to promote or anything. Feel free to come on. This would be
Absolutely.
great. Just let me know.
Yeah. Sure, sure, sure. I can tell you right now, I'm in a part of a Shakespeare project going up in time for
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. Just
Tell
gonna
us
quickly
about it.
plug it. Yeah. So my friends in quarantine started this thing called All in Theatrics, and they're doing Shakespeare, which is a project that's all of the famous lovers' quarrels and love scenes by the one and only Willie Shakes. It's going to be the 12th and 13th at 8 p.m. It's a 2-night thing, so either pick one or you can do both if you really love Shakespeare. And all of the donations, obviously it's free, but any donations go to the Lost and Found Youth of Atlanta, which is a great cause that they're both really passionate about, and we all should be passionate about as well. So that's exciting.
All right. So yes, check those out. That's going
Hmm.
to be so we're having this launch on Thursday the 11th. So again,
Great.
starting tomorrow, the 12th, Friday the 12th and Friday the 3rd, sorry, Saturday the
Yeah.
13th. You can check out Natalie and her crew perform and with a great cause. So
Yeah. Should be
thank you
really
for
fun.
sharing that just in time too. So
Thank you.
but my last thing we have to do before
Okay.
we sign off for tonight is this is actually awesome because have you heard of Inside the Actor Studio?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So have you heard of the Proust questionnaire with James Lipton's final questions he has?
I maybe I have, but not recognizing the name right now. No.
Well, you'll hear it right now. So the
Okay.
Proust questionnaire as so Inside the Actor Studio, James Lipton has his
Hmm.
famous, he's talking about people he's interviewed. And uh one of the things he borrowed from an old French show was the Proust questionnaire. And I've inherited for this show. So, Natalie, would you like to
Awesome.
answer the Proust questionnaire and then we'll say goodbye?
Let's hear it. Yeah, I'd love to.
All right. So, my first question here in the Proust questionnaire, Natalie, what
Mhm.
is your favorite word?
Oh, I feel like it's gonna be an expletive.
Feel free what you want.
Alrighty. All right. So PG version, my favorite word would be yes. I love to hear the word yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh, no
and
problem.
then not PG, my favorite word. I could swear, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. You can
All
start.
right, my favorite word is fuck. I'm gonna be honest.
All
I love
right. All right. So we love, like I said, we always promote diversity on this show,
There
even
you
in our
go.
semantics. So, what's your least favorite word?
Let's see. I don't like the word Worcestershire because that whoever did that was
Worcestershire.
rude. Yeah, I'm gonna say that might be
I
my
love
least
that.
favorite word. Worcestershire. Yeah.
Worcestershire. All right.
Worcestershire. It's the sauce is fine, but Worcestershire. Come on, we can do better than
Yes, yes.
that.
So this question, so sometimes there's confusion with it. So let me just bring
Okay.
it. So this not is not necessarily a sexual question. This is
hmm
more of a life question.
Okay.
And only one person who didn't take it seriously when I said it that. So this is a more of a life question. But what turns you on in this world? Whether it's
Got it.
laughter or hanging out with
Yeah.
your loved ones, or if it's rolling around in the grass. Weird flex, but okay.
Sure. Um, yeah, let's see. I get really excited when I definitely when I see like people laughing over something. Uh I always kind of, even if they're across the room, I'm like, what are they laughing about? Like I always want to be involved. But yeah, I would say that, and also I really love to see I like working with kids a lot. So I really like to see kids discovering things for the first time. And
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to do that. Like I showed the cute 1-year-old I work with, I showed her Velcro. It took her like an hour, and it was like the best thing. I was like, see, like we can discover stuff every day if it's very simple, but enjoy the little things. So I love watching young people, but also anyone just like discover something and it changes them. And it's cool to see that on their faces. And discovery is nice.
Well, when she becomes a fashion designer, you know
Yeah,
where.
right? Here, we said it here.
So what turns you off in this world?
Ooh, I would just say, oh wow, I would say la like not someone who isn't open-minded, misogyny,
Mhm.
disrespect in general, and that just that means like racism, homophobia, and classism, and all of the things that we talk about and that need to be worked on. I think hate in general is hate is taught. I believe we're taught
Oh yeah.
hate. We're born with so much love, and we're taught hate. So that's what turns me off. Hate.
I hear that.
Reasonable. That's
That
reasonable, right?
great answer for that. Really
Mm.
great answer. Number 5. What sound or noise do you love?
I love when you swipe your card at Trader Joe's. There's that little jingle. I love. I go out of my way. There's no Trader Joe's in Astoria, and if I'm working somewhere else, I'll hit Trader Joe's on the way home and buy like everything bagel seasoning and hear the little like I love that sound. That's a good one. Yeah,
Oh man, that's
that's my
I thought you were
favorite.
going to say the subway metro card for a
Oh
second.
no,
That's what it would do.
my least favorite sound is hearing a train that I'm supposed to be on leave the station.
Oh,
That's
that's
my
the
least favorite
worst.
sound. The screeching, and I'm like, nope, I'm supposed to. That sucks. It's gone.
The pain. It sucks
Oh,
when you go down the barricade and you're on the steps, and then it closes. And in a pre-pandemic world when it was
mhm.
packed and you couldn't get
Oh,
on and
yeah.
try to move. So you're the first ever person to already answer the question before I ask it, which is what's your least
Sorry.
favorite sound? But oh no,
Yeah,
it's fine. It's you did it, so you made my life
that
easier.
was.
So.
I think that just gives me so much anxiety when I hear a train leaving, and even when I'm not even going anywhere that day, I hear it. I'm like, oh no, I'm good. Like
Ding,
I
ding,
just
ding.
panic for a second.
Oh man. So this is kind of funny because you kind of already answered this already, but I'll ask it again. But what is your favorite curse word?
Oh, that would be fuck. I should have waited to say fuck. I was gonna say like I wonder. This whole podcast I haven't sworn, and now I'm gonna swear at the very end.
No worries. Trust me. I've had I've had some people where you had to put the explicit, but it's fine. It's still hilarious. But
Okay,
listen,
great.
I just be
Clean comedy
yourself.
is good comedy too. Yeah, absolutely. But I think I have to, especially working with kids. Oh my gosh, I have to censor myself like all the time because
Mm.
if one time someone said to me like because they heard I was from New York, they're like, oh, I hear people from New York have really dirty mouths. I was like, that's bullshit. Who the fuck told you that? So that's my favorite joke.
Mother Tucker, you
Yeah,
fat
just
one.
say it. Like we get to words too much power. I think just
Yeah,
say it. If
definitely.
you mean it, if you stub your toe or you miss the train, fuck.
Ugh, it's a lifestyle. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
I guess so.
What profession other than your own,
Hmm.
or the few that you are you do, that you would what other profession would you like to attempt?
Wow. I think that's a really good question. I've been so inspired by a lot of the healthcare professionals, and I definitely think that that's like to be a nurse would be incredible. To be a doctor would be
Yeah.
so much time and education. However, if I could do something different, I would do that, or I would teach. But I also might teach down the line. So I guess that's like in the plan, Z of mine.
All
Yeah.
right. Cool, cool.
Hmm.
What profession would you not like to do?
Oh wow. There's quite a few actually that don't sound that appealing to me. So I did mock trial in high school and I loved like law and I loved like
Mhm.
trial and actually I got to see some temp work at a law firm so I was around it and then I really realized that I'm glad I was not a lawyer. I just
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think I would like that at all. It's difficult, but I know a lot of great people who are lawyers and they're always so stressed and so, it's
Yeah.
difficult. It's hard. It's a lot of paperwork. Oh,
Yeah, paperwork and also the emotional toll it could take, especially with your client and
yeah.
stuff that you be in. So it's not an easy
Oh,
job, but we appreciate anyone who does it, who fights for justice. We really do.
100%, 100%.
Genuinely does too.
Yeah, genuinely, and is on the right side of things. I think that's where I would, I don't hate that as much, but I'm glad there are other people that are dedicated to, and smart in doing those things.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And my final question before we say goodbye, Natalie, is if heaven exists, what would you like
Mhm.
to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
This question I have heard before. Um, I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a super religious person, so I feel like I would want him to be cool with that, or he or she. I'd want them,
Mhm.
he, she, they. I'd want them to be like, "Come on in. It's okay. Nice to meet you." Like I feel like that's something I want to be
That's what I
forgiven.
say. Let's party.
Yeah, let's rage. I hope heaven's fun. If it exists, let it be fun. Let there not be
Absolutely.
any hangovers. Let it be a good time.
Oh man. Until those days, we just live it up at here for it.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
but Natalie, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've enjoyed every second, as I
Likewise.
mentioned. Again, can you just tell us where we could check out you and your talented crew tomorrow and Saturday?
Yeah, great. So there's a Facebook event, or All in Theatrics is the website. I should pull that up right quick. Yeah, I have it actually. Just give me one sec.
Yeah, and
Um,
text
mhm.
it to me and I'll put it in the description for
That would be awesome. Yes. So that's it's really great. And it's fun to do any work at all right now, but also to do work that's going to actually benefit a good cause is excellent. So yeah, All in Theatrics. And it's a Facebook page as of right now, and I'm trying to see if there's a link. But I'll absolutely send it to you and I'll give it to you.
All right, looking forward to it. So yes, check the link in the description to check out Natalie and her crew as they perform for a good cause of all Shakespeare and other great projects. So
Yeah,
again, check it out on the link. But again, Natalie, thank you so much for taking the time. I hope you want to do this again. And we're all looking forward to seeing what you're going to do. So thank you so much, Natalie.
absolutely. Matt, thank you so, so much. It's been a pleasure. Pleasure's
And
mine.
as is mine. And thank you so much. I had a lot of fun. So with that,
You
that's
too.
the great Natalie Harde. And we'll see you really soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.